Alright. Hopefully I've finally worked out how to do a screen capture with picture-in-picture on the Mac. We're about to find out. Let's give this a go. I've talked a lot about video. I wanted to have a little bit of fun this week, or I call it fun because, quite frankly, I'm a nerd. I've been holding off on talking about the US elections and what's happening online, but by crikey, it's been interesting. So I've been following it for nearly a year, probably 10 or 11 months, something like that. And I've been following one candidate in particular because I just find it fascinating. What we're seeing happening with the net, this US federal election, is for the first time we're seeing this medium play an active role in the election process. Sure, we had it a little bit with Howard Dean 4 years ago, whenever it was 4 years ago. But this time with Ron Paul, it is quite extraordinary. You probably haven't even heard of Ron Paul. To give you a little bit of a background, he's a Republican candidate. He's been in, I think he's served something like 10 terms as a congressman, as a Republican congressman. But the way it all started, about just over a year ago, somebody posted on their MySpace page a little bit of information about Ron Paul and how he essentially had libertarian views. To cut a long story short, it went viral. People started making videos, and anybody who follows my blog will know that about 3 months ago, or 3 or 4 months, actually no, it was probably November last year, I was doing some comparison numbers on Rudy Giuliani versus Ron Paul. And what I found was on YouTube, and I did the same for the Australian federal election, and on YouTube, every one of Rudy Giuliani's videos in the top 40 were negative. And yet the media was saying, this is the anointed one. This is the guy who's going to become the Republican nominee. But the internet was saying something very, very different. Ron Paul, on the other hand, every top 40 video was just glowing about him. They're all put up by fans, and some of them were extraordinarily well-made videos that have been put up by fans. So at the same time, as we know now, Rudy Giuliani dropped out, didn't have the numbers. If we have a look at what's happened in the last 24 hours, though, which has prompted me to do this video, is the current presumptive nominee, and I believe that's the correct term, presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, John McCain. Someone's posted a video up on YouTube, and I don't know if you can see here. This is the title of it, of course, but it's had nearly 724,000 views in about 24 hours. Now, in the first 18 hours, it had 350. So it's starting to go exponential here. It's starting to go viral. It's a very, very damning video about John McCain. It is not complimentary at all. And I'm sure I haven't tried this, but I'm sure if you Google McCain's YouTube problem, you'll come up with this video, and it's only been live for just over 24 hours now. Now, the other extraordinary thing, apart from the views that it's had, is the amount of comments. There's been literally thousands of people who've left comments. Some people are leaving video responses. There's been thousands of people that have rated the video, and so it's getting higher and higher on YouTube. So it's starting now to feature on the front page of YouTube, which is only going to make it have more views. And it really, well, you watch the video. I won't bore you with the details. But one of the other extraordinary things that, so the reason I show you that is because all we're hearing about in the press, in the media, as far as the Republican Party goes, is about John McCain. As far as they're concerned, there's no other people running. But of course, that's not true. Ron Paul is still a presidential candidate and is still running. The other extraordinary thing is if we go to the New York Times and we have a look at the bestseller list there, and if you go to the New York Times, go to the bestseller list, I'll show you here, hardcover non-fiction. He's fallen off this week, but last week he was #1 for hardcover non-fiction. Which is extraordinary in itself that he could get on the New York Times bestseller list when he's having no press. Now, you say, well, Jim, how can you say he's having no press? Well, let me show you. Here is why I can tell you he's actually having no press. If I go to my bookmarks, and I've just chopped my face off with my bookmarks. Where are we? Trends. If you haven't used Google Trends, go and give it a go. It's very interesting what you can see with Google Trends. And I know I've got to reorganize these. Google Trends. Here's one I prepared earlier. Google Trends, I'll just move the browser over here, is monitoring essentially search phrases and related search phrases. Now, I first saw someone do this, a television producer out of California, and when he showed it on the screen, I just couldn't believe it. I had to go and do it for myself. Now, what we're looking at here is about 12 months worth of data of people searching online. This blue line here represents Ron Paul searches. Now, you can see right back July, he was beating every other candidate. We've got Ron Paul in blue, John McCain in red, Hillary Clinton in yellow, and Barack Obama in green. Then, he started to peak around January of this year. But what a lot of people don't know is that Ron Paul actually raised more money than any other Republican candidate in the final quarter of 2007. And you'll see Barack Obama is now starting, as we get into 2008, he's really starting to get some searches, and really people are really starting to find out what he's about. And at the same time, you'll see Ron Paul starts to drop off. Now, why is that? Well, if we have a look at the graph down below, you will see this represents news reference volume. Okay, so this is Google looking at what articles were in the news mentioning these candidates. And you can see down the side here, we've got these major points of interest and what was in the press at the time. Now, what's extraordinary down here is that Ron Paul is getting a little bit of press in January this year, but really, in comparison, and these are relative because they're in comparison, he's getting none. He flatlines right about here in February, March this year. But look at the blue line here. It is still neck and neck with John McCain. And you look and compare that to John McCain's press. Quite extraordinary. He's getting a lot of press. Ron Paul has flatlined. Ron Paul is still getting a lot of searches. Now, you may not think this is significant, but I think it's very significant because it's not just these tools I'm using. If we go and have a look at, well, let's go, say, word tracker, eh? Let's have a look. Word tracker. Oh, no, we don't want to look at that. Word tracker. And we don't want to look at that either. Word tracker is a site that monitors the search engines. Okay, so let's go and have a look. Wordtracker.com. And essentially it only monitors two search engines. It monitors Dogpile and Metacrawler. And I'll just move that up so you can't see my password. And the Dogpile and Metacrawler are search engines that search the search engines. Okay. So if we go and have a look at and see what are the popular key phrases. Now, I have not done this for some months, admittedly. I'm doing this live now because I'm just interested to see what's going on. When I did it, it was probably 3 months ago, the last time I had a look. Ron Paul, I don't know what's happened there. Ron Paul was, excuse about the glitches, it's new software, it's on a Mac, I'm doing my best. Ron Paul was number one in Word Tracker for all those phrases. Here we are, we're back. Now, I doubt very much whether he is today, but let's just have a look. First of all, we'll do Ron Paul and see what sort of number he gets. Proceed, and let's see what... okay, Ron Paul, he's only getting about 5,000 odd a day. And just make that size bigger for you. Now, November last year, this number was up around 15,000, and Barack Obama was his next closest rival at about 5,000 a day.